everybody. Welcome to another episode of Rollin' Chewing the Fat with Rollin' Picker. And my special guest tonight is none other than Vicki Porter. And you've probably seen her, guys, on Sundays. She does auctions with Cindy, Jewelry Nurse. And she was on MSP, I think, a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And she's a big jewelry fanatic. At least that's what I'm figuring. So I'm lucky that I could get her to come on to interview her, find a little bit about herself, and those type of things. You guys know how it goes. If you got any questions you'd like me to ask her, or field some questions for you, make sure you use question marks all over the place so I can see. Okay, so I can know to ask her a question. And with that, we're going to go ahead and I do know she's brought some stuff to show you, some of her recent finds and a few other things that she does. And later on, I'm going to say that hi to everybody that's here. Instead of running down through the list, I want to get started with the interview, but I'll catch up with all you guys after the interview, before we close, so that we can get some shout outs and get anybody to put up stuff that they might want to share. I do want to remind everybody, we're not going to run too long because I do not want to cut into Dwayne. MSP auction. I don't know who's on his show tonight. If one of the mods can find that link and put it up there for me, and Vicki's channel, her YouTube channel, you can put that link up for me there too. I'd appreciate it. I do have it in the description. Sadly, she has no eBay or Etsy or Poshmark store, but we're going to try to change that soon, I hope.
Yes.
Because she has a lot of goods to sell, and she has a lot of quality jewelry. But she does have a YouTube channel, and I encourage you guys to go over there and check it out. I watched a really interesting video. I've been watching it, but I watched an interesting one today, and I'm going to ask her about it, because I know it does happen in certain parts of Arizona. I'm pretty sure she knows which one I'm going to be talking about. But anyway, with that said, I give you Vicki Porter. So, Vicki, do you want to say hi to everybody and tell a little bit about yourself as an introduction?
Hi, everybody. My name is Vicki Porter. That's actually my YouTube name and not my real name. Vicki is my name that I go by normally. Porter is not my real last name at the moment. So at any rate, I also go as Grandma Ladybug. And eventually when I do have stores, it'll probably be something along the lines of Grandma Ladybug Finds, or something along those lines. I haven't thought it all totally through yet. However, I have been doing jewelry for quite a while. And when I say doing jewelry, I mean, I started out making jewelry. And I started out watching, a lot of you already know the channel called JTV. I started out watching them and ordering some strands of beads and pearls and findings from them. And then I found another website that I was able to find things at a much better price and just as good a quality, which they're called Shop LC, if anybody is interested. They also have an awesome auction line where you can buy jewelry pieces such as this. I got this piece. It's 14 karat gold over sterling silver, and this is what they called Caribbean something, hence the pretty blue stone. But I got this for under $10. And
wow.
Yes, and I was known throughout my family for everybody getting Christmas gifts from Shop LC, because they don't just have jewelry. They have scarves, they have handbags, they have wallets, they have slippers, they have coats. Those coats that I have brought out, and ponchos and whatnot, I have brought out occasionally to sell. All of that I have gotten from Shop LC. Another prime example, these are wristbands and a hat to match. Now, I got these for $1. Where they get you is the shipping. It's $2.99 for every piece you ship. So I paid $1 for this, $2.99 for shipping. However, until I discovered they had bulk shipping for people who bought a lot of stuff, and the shipping was way more expensive than the things you were purchasing. And they got to a point where they had a bulk shipping for $29.99, which is basically 10 items. And if you get an 11th item, anything over the 11th item, you still only pay that $29.95. So I was buying like 50, 60, 70 pieces of everything, not just jewelry. But my daughter does have a business that she started out making candles called Heaven Sent Treasure Candles. And she would make the wax from scratch. She could make regular wax. She could make soy. Soy was a lot most sought after, but it was about a 50-50 mix whether they wanted soy candles or a regular candle. But at any rate, we would put sterling silver with gold wash, yellow gold wash, real gemstones, etc., etc. I mean, a real piece of jewelry for under $10. And that was my max. She gave herself a little bit higher of a max, but for me to purchase something, it was my personal challenge
Yeah.
to get everything under $10. And that goes as far as coats, jackets, hats. I mean, purses, handbags. Do I have anything here? A handbag, real quick? No, not within knee reaching. At any rate, I have tons and tons of that stuff. She has now sort of changed her business a little bit. Instead of doing candles, candles are it's a lot of standing up to make candles. So she went to doing melts, which is like a little design. If you watch the Michael's haul that I got, where we had all of those little like Jello molds or candy mold things, she makes for like Christmas, she'll make like the 24 cents of Christmas and have like several of those little things in a mold with the scent. So you've got like 10 pieces of the scent or more that you can try, or every day you could just try a different scent up until Christmas. And then the gift itself on Christmas is a piece of jewelry. So that's something that we do for her business around Christmas time, is that we call them Advent calendars or trees or whatever you want to call them, but it's Advent. And then the last drawer, like I said, has, instead of pieces of a yummy smelling melt in it, it'll have a piece of jewelry. My mom loved hers last Christmas. She was like, "Oh, that was a nice surprise." So at any rate, she also does, she just did these today. These are cotton-headed ninny muggins, which is a scent from one of the Christmas movies. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not. I don't know if it would be,
I don't care,
copyrighted, from Elf with Will Ferrell. Yeah, they have what he calls a cotton-headed nitty muggin smell, and this was portrayed as what that smell is from that movie.
That's pretty cool.
And they smell really good. I had a box here from the MSP auction that I was going to try and auction off, but the last time I tried, our ladies seem to pretty much like jewelry. I've tried to introduce other things, and it's sometimes a little bit more successful than others. But this one, she made Villains of Queens of Air and Darkness. This was black raspberry and vanilla fizzy pop, and this is actually a roll-on essence perfume.
Wow.
Like the oils, the fragrance oils, and she makes the perfume out of it. Some of them have sparklies in, some of them don't. This one does not, so there's no need to shake it. But this is the black raspberry vanilla fizzy pop, and with the roll-on fragrance perfume, you also get a bar of soap, goat's milk soap. I thought this one was blueberry crumble, but it's not. It's raspberry whatever it was. And this one is a melt. Doesn't that look like real blueberries
That's a
or
wax
raspberries
melt.
and cream?
That's a
Yeah.
wax melt. That's a big wax melt.
This is a big wax melt, and I don't have my warmer in here. I have one that plugs into the wall and
Yeah.
sits stationary, and then I have one that actually plugs into the outlet, right into the outlet, a little one. That one's in the bathroom. So you
So
can put
you
this,
don't throw that whole thing in there. You break it off, right?
if
I mean,
you
that'd be a
have
big
a
wax
big
melt.
warmer, you can do so, yes. But my warmers are not as big. The one warmer that I had that plugs into the wall is about this big, and the top of it is about that big that you put the little bit, you
Wow.
would just peel, poke, crumble a little piece off of it and put it in there. And for several days, that's all you need. It smells delicious.
Let me ask you real quick. All this natural stuff. I know that the natural products are real big. I like to
Yeah,
use a lot of things that don't have the aluminum in them and all the other stuff because it can
yeah.
cause some health issues. Does your daughter have an actual website?
She does. It's
Well,
treasure.
we'll have to get that in the description.
Okay.
I forgot about asking you that, but go ahead. What is her website?
Yeah, it's heavensentTreasureCandles.com.
Heaven sent as
Heaven,
in SE. Yeah,
HEAVEN, SCENT
I see the
as in
I
scent.
see the play on the words. Yeah.
Yes, treasure candles.
We're going to get
Heaven
that
sent treasure
website up for
candles.
you guys because my daughter's saying, I need that website now. My
Yeah.
daughter, so get this, is a big, oh, big wax melt. This house, you can go in any part of the room, especially my room. You can go from
Oh
my
my
room
goodness.
to
You
any
know
room,
what?
and it
We've got
smells
a
different.
boatload of freebies out there, stuff that overpours is what she calls it. And she just makes them into, pieces that are much smaller than this, like 10 pieces that would be the equivalent of this. And she'll just throw random ones into people who buy things so they can try other scents as well, too. So, I've got your address. I'll send a little montage of those
Cool.
scents for her to try out, see how she likes them. Is she more into like fruity flavors and bakery flavor, or does she like patchouli and falling
Let,
rain
let me
and
let
tobacco
me ask
smoke?
her. Let me ask her. Hey, Angie, what are you into? Because I know, like, one day I'll go out, I'll get wheeled out, and I'll smell like fresh
Uh-huh.
game scent, and then you go to another part of the room, and I'm smelling like cinnamon bun, and then you go
Exactly.
into another room,
That's
and it
how it is
smells
in
like
our house. All
caramel
the
apple.
time we're like, what are you
Yeah,
baking in the oven? Nothing.
yeah, that's what Angie does. She
Yeah.
says I love it all. That's what she says in the
Yeah.
chat. She loves it all.
And they
So,
smell
so
so good.
I'm gonna go type this address in so we can get the link. You keep
Okay.
going ahead and talking. You said it was
Treasure candles.
heaven sent treasure candles.com.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. All
But
right.
though,
Well,
you talked
she
about
does
that
the melt, and
LC.
you would
Hold on.
not believe the number of scents that she has. I mean, she has built it up over the past 3 going on 4 years is how long she's been doing this. And
Uh-huh.
now she just does candles by request just because they're harder to do. And she's not getting as many people wanting the candles. She's getting the most of her business that she does now are melts that are the size of these guys or the hearts in here. And a piece of jewelry. She'll do online what she calls her jewelry party. And she's got her clientele people who show up every time, and they will get a melt where they can pick the scent, and she'll show a piece of jewelry and say, this is a 4.5.
Uh-huh.
Who, what scent do you want with your 4.5? Or this is, a 6.5. Which one do you want with this one? Or, even a pendant, but most of her girls like rings. And I actually started myself going with stainless steel. I have developed in the past few years a rash, mostly around my neck and sometimes my ears and wrists, but
Uh-huh.
all the time around my neck, that I can't wear silver and sometimes even gold anymore. I have gone to stainless steel, and I
Wow.
haven't had any problems with it. I think it's all the meds that I'm taking. That's the only thing I can think of that's
Yeah.
unusual about me, is I am taking some crazy meds for the arthritis and other things. So that's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, I have put all of my, 14 karat, 12 karat, all of my gold is put away for my two granddaughters. By the
Wow.
time they get to be a young adult, they won't even be able to buy gold anymore. Very rarely will it be available because it's so expensive right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they can find it on a wash or, over top of sterling silver, but I'm talking the real, 18 karat gold wedding bands and,
Yeah.
the really nice stuff. And I do have a lot of gold pieces that I don't wear yellow gold anymore unless it's something new that I just purchased. I just purchased this in the past year. It's gold over uh, silver, so I will wear that. But all of my good gold and white gold, I've done put all that away for the girls. And most of my jewelry box is now silver or stainless steel. I can
Yeah.
wear something like this over top of a turtleneck,
Yeah.
just not against my skin. So I can still wear, some silver and gold. I just can't wear it straight against my skin. So, and I don't know if it could be partly of age or, like I said, it's just the medications, but
Yeah.
whatever it is, I've had to make a life change. And you know what, you just play with the cards God gives you. Stainless
Exactly.
steel isn't bad, it lasts a lifetime. I have pieces that I have purchased in stainless steel that are along the nicer end of things, and I've already
Mhm.
put them up for the girls because stainless steel is going to live forever. You don't dent it, you don't scratch it. I mean,
Yeah.
you would literally have to run over it with a vehicle to destroy it. So, and I don't have anybody in my life anymore who would do something like that.
Yeah.
So, at any rate, a few things that I have found recently.
That's
A
what I'm
good,
interested in because you do have quite a when
I
you sell,
do.
you do have a lot of jewelry. So, before you show that, I do want to say two things. One,
Uh-huh.
when you talked about the place where you bought the ring and all, you gave away your honey hole. You know that, right?
Well, I was ready to give it away. I had
Okay.
tried another place that I was so disappointed in. I told Cindy, I said, Shauna, and Shauna's my daughter, I said, Shauna told me I was going to be disappointed. And I thought, well, I want to find out for myself. No one really has said to me definitively that Wish jewelry sucks. But
Yeah.
now I am here to tell you, if I can, that I will no longer be purchasing. Some of the things I purchased for them were great as long as it wasn't jewelry. I
Uh-huh.
purchased some, hats and gloves. I purchased some leather cords. Anything that wasn't 925 was okay. And I gave it good reviews, but I'll be doggone if someone advertises on their website that this piece is 925 sterling silver and you get it home and it's marked 925 sterling silver, and then you test it with the acids and it is not 925 silver,
Wow.
it was copper. And so every time I had purchased, and I made a lot of purchases, and every time they stopped sending me the things to give my feedback, because
Yeah.
anytime it had to do with silver, it was negative because there was nothing that was silver and all that stuff I bought, not even plated. And Cindy's like, well, sometimes when they come from China, which most of their stuff does come from China, they'll put like a layer of rhodium or white gold over top of it. This stuff was just
And
plain pretty. It looked pretty,
yeah.
but if anybody were to test it, so I'm not even giving any of that stuff away to even sell it, just because I was that disappointed in it. So
So is the site you said is Wish? Boy,
Wish.com. If
that
you're looking
blew
for
up in
jewelry,
it blew up in the
forget
chat.
about wish.com. And I've heard that their clothes are very cheap and very skimpily made. You know, seams will pop out. If you wear one of their wedding dresses, be prepared for it not to last through the reception. Just things I've heard, but until I actually
Wow.
experienced Wish myself, um, and now I'm, you know, I will
Well,
tell people don't buy from Wish.
I gotta tell you, I'm looking at the chat, and you said Wish, and the first one that piped in was my daughter. Wish jewelry sucks.
Yes,
It said the West one is the different sellers overseas.
yes,
Even their clothes suck. So,
yes.
guys, I think what Vicky's trying to say is Wish.com sucks.
Wish.com
So
sucks.
I'm glad that we could
Just
get
my
her to,
opinion, mind you.
yeah, just her opinion. So I'm glad we could get that out there. That's
And
a
I'm
very, very,
nobody, so
yep. Even Carmen saying, I hate Wish. Everything is really bad. Well, maybe they won't be around
well,
much
I
longer. And
bought a couple of pieces, like little out in Arizona, you don't need really big, heavy gloves until last Friday. Okay. But
yeah,
until then, I just needed some gloves that, you know, the fingers were out of, but just the rest of the hand
yeah.
and the thumb were covered. And I found them on Wish and I got them at, excuse me, every color, and I love them. I love them, but they're not jewelry. So they're, you know, they're okay. I
So the
got them.
gloves don't suck, but the
No,
jewelry sucks.
gloves don't suck.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, you mentioned snow. I got to
Yes.
say something. I watched your video,
Wasn't
guys.
it beautiful?
She's on Davis Mountain. I could never pronounce it. Air Force Base.
Davis Monthan Air Force
Yeah,
Base.
in Arizona, in Tucson. Now I know for a fact that it does snow, like in Flagstaff,
Yes, in the
further
mountains.
north Arizona. Most people don't think it snows in Arizona, but they get snow in Sedona. They get
Yes.
snow in Flagstaff.
Yep.
Tucson is like on
Mount
I-10,
Lemmon. Yes.
right off of I-10 or whatever, near, and
Sierra
through
Vista,
Phoenix and
yes,
all
the
that. Yeah,
mountainous areas get snow. Now we can actually see the mountain areas when we're out driving on the road, and you can see snow up there in the mountaintops. However, I didn't even know they were calling for snow. And as it turned out, the kids had Thursday and Friday off for the holiday that was at the beginning of the week. My son-in-law
uh,
had Monday and Tuesday. And then my 5.5-year-old granddaughter, who's in kindergarten, had Thursday and Friday off. And it rained Friday evening or Thursday evening. It rained Thursday night. It was raining Friday morning when I woke up, and I was miserable. The It doesn't rain very often out here, but whenever it does, I suffer from the rain just like I do any place else. And I was back going to the bathroom and my granddaughter came back and she knocked on the door and busted in. And I was like, "What do you think you're doing?" And she says, "Grandma, it's snowing out." And I'm like, "Do you really think that's going to get me to get out of the bathroom quicker? Come on." And so I got out of the bathroom and I came out and she went straight in. And so I went out and I looked out the window beside the door because we've got one of those big panel
yeah.
windows beside the front door. And I was like, OMG, it's snowing out there. And Shauna said, "Didn't Erilyn tell you?" And I said, "Yes, she told me, but I didn't believe her." I thought she was just pulling
Yeah,
my leg. So I got my camera out there and, of course, went right out there in my pajamas and my slippers and
I watched
just
the
filmed
video. It was
snow.
amazing,
Uh-huh.
and I
And
can
some of the
imagine.
biggest snowflakes, I could not believe how big they were. I mean, they were just big glops of stuff falling down from the sky. It looked like big cotton balls falling from the
Yeah,
sky. It was so pretty, and I hadn't seen snowfall from the sky in a while. And I'm originally from Pennsylvania, the East Coast. So that was like a little that was like a little surprise for me. I really enjoyed that. And then the little one went out later on and built a snowman. And uh, I took a picture of it so that, you know, we had it so that we could say, "Here's your first snowman." And we didn't have a whole awful lot of snow, but it was that thick white, you know, clumpy stuff that makes the good snowballs. And so she was able to make a decent snowman, but I
Yeah.
just had to lap, and it snowed all the way up until between, I'd say, 1 and 2 o'clock. It started, with just little sparkly stuff coming down for a while, the little fine
Uh-huh.
stuff, and then it was gone. But for like 5 hours, it snowed in Tucson on base. I was loving it.
Right on.
I was
I
loving it.
mean, I could imagine, 'cause, when I first got to Alaska, I being in Central California, I didn't ever go to the snow that much. But
Right.
when I got to Alaska and I experienced the driving it for the first time, it was quite interesting.
Uh-huh.
So I can imagine on that day when it doesn't happen, or somebody's new and they're thinking and nothing happens there because it's desert.
Right.
Imagine there was quite a few accidents and slip and sliding and
Yes.
people sliding through
Yes.
intersections. I bet it was fun.
Well, we living on base, where we actually live on base, lines right up to Golf Links, which is the main road that is the border on half of the well, I guess maybe a third of the base. And so we could hear, the sirens and the fire trucks, and there were even some on base. So, accidents happen everywhere, not just, off base, but on base as well too. So but it was awesome that day. I really enjoyed that day, and I stayed in my pajamas all day just to enjoy the snow because I could.
Yeah,
So
it was a good video. I encourage you guys to go over, if the mods can put up Vicky's channel again. Go on over there and check out her channel. She's got some videos up, and the snow one was quite interesting. With the way the weather's going. I mean, there's your global warming, huh?
I was just going to
So
say, someone said the other day about how crazy the weather was. And I was like, yeah, we had snow in Tucson. That's how crazy. And not just a snowflake. We had a couple of inches of snow. It snowed for 5 hours, which, like I said, I was really tickled with. So,
yeah.
but yeah.
So let me ask you about the jewelry. Now I know you like I see you selling it, but did was that ever your intention? I mean, did you always have the interest in the jewelry and designs and things like that? And then it just like have you been collecting for a long time or like
I
who
have
introduced you to jewelry? I mean, it must have been when you were a young girl. I mean, somebody must have given you
both of
something
my
from that.
grandmothers, both of my grandmothers,
Oh,
my grandmother on my mother's side had like a toolbox in on top of her dresser that had little drawers for like screws and nails and nuts and bolts and all that kind of stuff. Only hers was full of jewelry. And I remember correctly, Sarah Coventry jewelry was a good bit of what she had in there.
okay.
And I remember that because I have a necklace that it actually broke because I continued to wear it for years. I was very gentle with it, but over time it just it was cream colored and black colored pearls that were like 6 strands, and they twisted around each other.
Uh-huh.
And some of those pearls started to come undone, so I no longer wear that. I have put it away so that at some point in time maybe I can sit and refix it. It probably shouldn't be all that hard, but just the fact that it was something that belonged to my grandma, and I wore it until now I have to fix it.
Yeah.
But I started out wearing jewelry and then having to fix it. And then I was like, well, I saw this piece of jewelry on the TV that I would like, but it's a fortune. So I'm going to see if I can do a Vicky spin on that piece of
Yeah.
jewelry. And that's what I would do. And one of the favorite things that I like to do is these are not pearls that I have knotted. These are pearls that I had just found in some jewelry jars this week. Um, both of these are long strands. There are some knots in here, but only around the big ones. But I like to individually knot pearls. First of all, it protects the pearl from whatever bead or gemstone or pearl that's beside it, so they don't, they're not
Yeah.
rubbing each other all the time. And then secondly, it separates and you can see the beads better for what they are, whether it's a pearl, whether you've got, you know, a little dangly crystal hanging, whatever the case may be. I love pearls and crystals. As a matter of fact, I was telling Cindy last night, if I do anything with these at all, it will be to take them apart and add crystals, because I like crystals with just about everything.
Cool.
I think, you know, every girly girl should have, you know, crystals in just about everything. So it sets you apart from anybody else.
You
So,
hold on now. You said jewelry jars. So
yes.
I remember the bases that I've been on, they had like a thrift stores on base. Do you get the jewelry jars? Do they have a thrift store there, or do you have to go off base,
They
like
have
go to
a very
Goodwill or
good
wherever?
thrift store here on base, and I get a lot of my clothing from the thrift store. I've actually gotten some nice pieces of jewelry there too. As a matter of fact, one of my auctions that I had where I had a suicide necklace, I actually got that from the thrift store on base.
Wow.
And yeah, a suicide necklace. And so I was thrilled with that. And I do find some good things there, but not as often in the jewelry department. In the clothes, I'll buy, like I've been having a health issue lately, and I've dropped some weight, and where else to go to get good clothes but, you know, a thrift store. And there's a woman on this base who is the exact same size as me, who keeps sending her clothes there, and I keep buying them.
Wow.
So I'm lucky in that respect.
That's
Very
cool.
lucky.
Carmen wants me to ask you a question. She said,
yes,
because I'm going to start picking these up, because the chat is moving pretty fast.
100 miles a minute. I see my phone over here.
And I'm trying to keep up with it. She said to ask you, which is your favorite stone and your favorite brand?
My favorite stone, and it's not one that I have right here. Well, no, it's not one that I have right here that I can show you. My favorite stone is labradorite.
Oh, that is pretty.
That is a very nice stone. And if you saw anything that Sandy brought back from Tucson, she got some awesome specimens from Tucson. All I could do was just stand and watch her work with the vendors, because she was just fabulous. It really opened my eyes up about, you know, we've all been sitting here and watching her make jewelry on her tools in her shop, but I got to see where she gets her stones and her, you know, silver and copper and all of that stuff from. And it was an eye-opener, because it's just not a matter of going to the Rio Grande or, you know, one of the places sometimes and saying, I want, you know, $100 worth of that and $300 worth of that. Sometimes you have to say, see this stone right here? How much for this stone? I mean, she was literally picking out stones and saying, how much for this stone? And I was just amazed that, you know, she recognized the quality of each stone. And there was a couple of times where she let me pick a few things out. We found a little bit of that that pink druzy pink bubblegum druzy. Yeah, the Cobaltian.
Yeah,
whatever.
I can never pronounce any of them anyway. But
yes, we found a little bit of that, and she was going through, and not only was there the strawberry colored, but there was a deep raspberry color too. And I'm sure it's just a little difference of a chemical here or there, but it was, you know, the strawberry and then definitely the raspberry. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And but, you know, unless you knew what it was, because of the rock that she picked up, there was like maybe a one piece of the top, just the top along the ridge, that you are able to use. And then the rest of it is just, you know, it's just you don't use it. Just
Throw
that
away.
thin layer that has that pink on.
Yeah.
And when we saw the stones that she had cut on initially that she used, we didn't realize that, teardrop stone was connected to, a rock this big, and the rest of it, just got tossed because only one piece of it had the druzy on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just magnificent to see her in action. And I'm hoping next year that a few people will maybe come. I got a place close to the base because that's where I was close to. I didn't know exactly where we would be going in Tucson because this gem show is all over town. It's not just in one area or one hotel. It's all over town, all
Yeah.
over back alleys, all over the grids. Tucson is grids this way and grids this way. And so every corner, there's a pharmacy, no exaggeration.
Yep.
Every corner, there's a church. Every corner, there's, a bar, a liquor store, a restaurant. It's just so much going on that you'll find stuff where you won't even believe
Yeah.
you can find it in some restaurants, patio restaurant or just something crazy off the wall like that. But she knew exactly where to go. And that I've been here 5 years, but that was only my second time to the gem show. And I learned a lot more this time than I knew the first time. However, as funny as that seems, I had a doctor's appointment one day and Sandy went out and she and I ended up at the same place. My doctor's appointment was at the hospital and I'd had a test run. And then I went down to the jewelry show, which was, just 2 streets down. And who did I run into but Miss Sandy? And I was like shocked because I'm thinking, okay, she knows everywhere. I just never thought that we would run into each other at the same place. And she was as shocked when I came up to her and said, "What are you doing here?"
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it was really cool. And I would love, love, love for anybody else who could come out and um, join us, whoever comes out next year to, go. It was a great experience. I got to pick out a few things. I tend to get things that deal with healing. And I had gotten one of these little wands right here. And someone else said, oh, they wanted one. So I got 3 of them thinking, okay, I'll find out who that was and I'll get it to them. But I don't remember who it was. I'll have to go back and watch her videos again to see who it was and send them one of these. And these are actually little skeletons of orthos or something like that.
They're
Pardon?
fossils.
Yes, it's a fossil. And they cut it out in the shape of the fossil, and they even put holes in it so you can put a leather cord through it.
Pull it up a little more into the middle where we can see it. There you go.
Let me get my finger out of the way of the fossil.
That's a little fossil, like probably 1,000,000 years old.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Oh, yeah.
They're way cool. Nice. Now, the one I have is like this long. I don't know why I got one that big. That's just the size they were selling in that store. I would have much rather had one of these guys that I could put on a cord and wear it around my neck. So who knows? Maybe that person will get that big one that I have, and I'll just keep one of these little ones and wear it around my neck.
I got 2 questions in here for you, and they're both the same. And I think you already answered it earlier, but I think they came in a little bit later. It's from This and That, and it's also from Jill. So I'm going to tie them in together and let you go ahead and answer them both. This and That says, that wants to know, gold or sterling silver, which one do you like? And Jill then follows up with, are you allergic to any metals?
I am.
I remember you said that earlier.
I am. I used to prefer gold and didn't wear anything else but gold. In the past 10 years, I've put all of my gold away. And I will say I have a few pieces. This was the very first piece of jewelry that I bought myself from a department store. And it's
you need to hold it up.
It's a
there you go. Ooh, that's pretty.
It's a cross. It's 10 karat gold, and it's a cross with garnets in Mozambique garnets
Wow.
with a gold chain. And I got this out because I did my top faves with Carla and Cindy last week. And I got earrings to go with it, and I think I had a little bracelet, and I had a ring as well, but I think those two were stolen from me. Everybody has that story, you know, where someone stole from them. I've got one of this as well. Makes you sick, but you know what it is, and I pray for people like that. And I also pray that, you know, when the time comes when they have to answer for it, that, you know, maybe they've, you know, redeemed themselves. That's all you can hope for. That's all you can hope
I
for.
agree with you. You're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Jill has another question
Yes.
that I think is pretty interesting, because I know you're into this soaps and the perfumes and the scents that your daughter makes, and I know you're
Yes.
around that. So her question is, what stones or scents, for that matter, do you recommend for overall good health?
Rose quartz isn't just the stone of love, it's the stone for overall good health. And I actually just had a little, this is not a very highly colored stone quartz.
Right there's cool. Yeah, right
Just
there.
barely color.
You pull it
But
back just a
rose
little bit.
quartz is like the overall, and crystal quartz as well too. Crystal quartz is like probably one of the most popular crystal stones, and then the rose quartz is probably secondary. But rose quartz, crystal quartz, those two I would say above all else.
What about
There's
scent?
one other piece of something I have. When I got my bigger piece, I got like this called selenite. And it almost looks like, if I could find it in the bed right now, I would, but I sleep with it in the bed. I know that sounds crazy, but
Yeah.
you know, whatever works for you, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It's a piece about this big around, and it's got little shimmers in it like cat's eye. And as a matter of fact, if you saw Sandy's videos, those white things that she got, one was a one tower, and then the other one had a split tower. That was selenite. And that is also very good for health as well too. Now she plans on making lights out of hers, putting one of those color changing LED lights underneath that, which is going to be fabulous. And then the light that radiates from that is only going to radiate good things. So I'm kind of jealous. I didn't think of it. I wish I had bought one when she bought her too, but those honkers were heavy. I mean, they were heavy. I carried the rest of the stones and stuff out when she carried them, and they were really, really heavy. I know we were both huffing and puffing by the time we got to the truck.
Linda Peters is asking, what about Herkimer diamond quartz?
I love Herkimer diamond quartz. However, they call it Herkimer diamonds because they come out of the ground shaped in those spiky crystals, and they look like diamonds right off the bat, whereas regular diamonds have to be faceted and, you know, all the good work done to them. These Herkimer diamonds, they're actually quartz. The Herkimer quartz, but they call it Herkimer diamonds because they literally look like diamonds. And I would love to have some. HSN has a gal who comes on by the name of Deb Goyet, Guyet, I believe, and you can look it up on their site. She comes on like every 3 or 4 months and sells her Herkimer diamonds quartz, and they are gorgeous. I just never have the money at the right time. You know how that is. So at some point in time, I know I will own some.
Any healing properties?
The last time she was online.
Any healing properties to those?
I don't know if they do or not. I mean, it's a quartz. I mean, crystal quartz and rose quartz both have healing properties. So my guess is, yeah. I mean, it's a white quartz, a clear quartz. So just because it's in a specific shape of a crystal, I don't think would dull the healing
Yeah.
properties at all. I mean, it's a clear crystal quartz. So my guess would be, yeah. I could be wrong, but that's just my guess.
Okay, so now what about the scent? What scent is, she asked about the stone and the scent for that matter, for their healing purposes. What do you recommend?
Well, everybody, of course, has their favorite scents. I would say one of the most, actually, two of the most common are vanilla and lavender. I don't care for either one of those scents. They get my, I have allergies, and so they just drive my allergies up one side and down the other side. However, when there's a scent that when I'm burning, it makes me feel better is black cherry or mulberry. They both sort of smell similar, but black cherry or mulberry, but it's, you know, to each his own, whoever, it's whatever scent you prefer. But there are a lot of people out there who use vanilla and lavender.
Okay.
Neither one of those work for me. My allergies are just on high alert. So
That's interesting. I
it
mean,
depends on each
you're
individual
pretty
person.
smart.
See,
You're a pretty
um,
smart lady.
who, me?
Yeah, I mean,
Nah.
you know about the stones, you know about the scents. I mean, I
Oh,
would have I
well,
would have just
I
looked at a
mean,
stone and thought,
it's been
"That's
dealing
it."
with them for so long. It's, you know, just,
Uh,
and my personal preference, your personal preference, a lot of people enjoy the scent of vanilla and the scent of lavender. One scent that I love that my daughter makes, and when I'm having sinus issues, I will actually have it in my warmer all the time. And she has a couple of melts. One is eucalyptus
uh-huh.
that smells just like the eucalyptus
Yeah,
smell. And what's the other one? Mixed together, rosemary and basil and lemongrass is another one. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, you just get used to these, you know, different scents as opposed to the standard vanilla. And I like,
yeah.
now there are some scents, some natural earthy scents that I just can't do it. Patchouli is one of them. Birchwood or sandalwood, and birch something.
Yep.
Those are like very masculine smells. I can't do those. I just, it's hard for me to breathe. So, but you know, some people really like those. Guys mostly like patchouli
I can't
and
stand it.
the smell of ozone. You know, the smell after you've had an electrical rainstorm and you could just
Yeah,
smell that smell in the air. That's like ozone.
yeah.
They actually have that smell that you can have put in a candle or a melt and smell that fresh air,
That's
rain,
crazy.
ozone smell. They
That's
can
crazy.
bottle just about any kind of scent now that you can think of. Tobacco. She had like 12 different scents of tobacco, including the big M. And I just I couldn't do the tobaccos. Whereas in my younger day, it wouldn't have bothered me to smell it. Can't do it
Yeah.
anymore. Getting too old, I guess.
Carmen, Carmen's got a question got a question for you. She wants to know your favorite jewelry brand.
My favorite jewelry brand. I think it would be unfair of me to say that I have a favorite jewelry brand. I just love all jewelry in general. But my favorite piece of jewelry sometimes is the most simple piece. Um, like, for instance, I just found this one 3 nights ago in a jewelry jar. And I found it online. The name of the designer is Ed, like Eddie, Lee, Lee. And the necklace that I found online is an exact match. Actually, I found two necklaces online. This one, which online they said their white cabochons were milk glass. I'm here to tell you these are not milk glass. They were probably just using that as a description because these are definitely like an ivory off-white. These are not white. Milk glass has a bluish tint to it and is like very translucent. Definitely not milk glass on this or the one down below. However, had a price tag on it of $60 for this necklace. Then it had another necklace right beside it, exact to everything. The little dragons on here, their tails coming to meet down here at the bottom, except the stones, instead of being a white cabochon, which I'm pretty sure these are plastic, those were, and I'm pretty sure that they were blue blown glass cabochons. I had sold a pair of earrings before that were the prettiest royal blue pair of earrings, sort of close to this, only these are lucite. Real beautiful blue piece in here, blue piece here, and little blue beads down at the bottom. And I love this chain throughout. And my chain on the back has a little box clasp, whereas the ones online had a spring ring. Now, I'm not sure what the difference is. Mine looks like it goes with these links. Right here is the box clasp, and you can see the links of the chain. So mine looks like that box clasp should be there. However, those two necklaces had spring rings. Now, the one with the blue stones in, want to garner a guess as to how much that one was?
Gosh, $10. I mean, I know a way you buy it. Probably got it $10.
No, $300.
Oh wow! See, that tells you I don't know very much about.
Well, and that tells me that the person who had this necklace for sale with milk glass that wasn't really milk glass, and they were just using the description to amp up their sale, who had it selling for $60, obviously didn't know what they had. Those were the only two comparisons I had, and I want to say they were on eBay, so I haven't had a chance to check it more than I did that night. But just a prime example, two necklaces, the only difference is the color of the stones. And I'm pretty sure those blue ones were hand-blown glass. I've had hand-blown glass before, and you could tell, you could see the irregularities on the surface of the cabochon. $60 or $300. And I bet you the one selling the necklace for $300 was having a fit, because people were probably asking them, why aren't you selling it for $60 like the other guy is? You know, that's just a prime example of somebody not really knowing what kind of product they have.
I fall in that category. Sometimes, I mean, I'm still learning. I would have never thought.
I do sometimes too. I don't know everything about everything, but when you research it, that's how you learn. Can you hear those airplanes?
Was that a jet? I haven't heard planes on it. I haven't heard planes in, oh my God, over 26 years. They are
ready for an air show here in another week or two, and they have been doing this for like a solid week. Now, today's Saturday, right? Okay, Sunday, this is going to be just as bad, if not worse. It's unbelievable.
I remember the air shows on the base, and I mean, I was on base. I was on one base but the thing is, when I'm hearing it, but when you're on a base for so long, you don't really hear it. It's because it's just
like that you do.
But I mean, I know what it was like. I was on a base. I was at Bergstrom in Austin, F-Force. Really loud, you know. And then Hickam Air Force Base, you know, they had the refueling planes.
To Tucson Airport as well too, so we get air traffic from both on base and Tucson. But man, these guys practicing for the air show, and it's like between now and mid March. I don't know exactly when, but oh my gosh, I cannot wait until it's done and over with. I've had my fair share.
You know, I kind of miss it.
There's enough of it going on every day that I'm not going to miss it. I promise you. Look at this little guy. Do you know what that is?
Well, it's focusing on your face, so it won't. You need to pull it back a little bit. It's the camera's
Sorry.
doing an autofocus on you, so you need to put
Oh,
it up
okay.
like in front of you,
I
and then
haven't.
that.
Okay.
I got to admit though, your camera's been working really good tonight.
My what?
The camera.
Yeah, this is, you know what, I probably haven't told anybody since I got this. When Sandy was here, she brought me a computer that she and Cindy went together and purchased for me
Oh,
with
that's
a camera that, you know, goes on or off, or you can set it down or whatever, what have you. And so the last couple times I've been doing videos, I did the MSP auction. It was the first video I did
yeah.
with the new
That's pretty
computer and
cool,
the
yeah.
camera. So I'm still working out the kinks.
But those are sock monkeys.
Yes, they are sock monkey earrings. I found the first one. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I find the second one, because everybody in my family has some kind of obsession with the sock monkey, starting with my sister who lives in Virginia. So guess who's getting a pair of sock monkey earrings for her birthday this month?
True.
My sister, who
Right
for
on.
some reason is fascinated with these dang sock monkeys.
I had one when I was a
So
kid.
yeah. Sock monkeys. Who would have thunk that you would find sock monkeys in a jewelry jar? And I'm still at a place where I can find jewelry jars. I went to the Salvation Army Wednesday after I had a procedure done to treat myself. I called them. I said, hey, do you guys have any jewelry jars? He said, we have at least 5. Well, I went there and they had like 15.
Wow.
And everything was 50% off. So I grabbed the 7 biggest ones and left the rest of them there. Of course, I should call back and see if they have any more and go get them tomorrow. But you'd be surprised if stuff you find. This is something that I found in one of the drawers. One of the jars. Here is this. You probably can't tell what it is because it's so small. This is a neck wire.
Okay.
And on it, it says 925. So that means underneath of it, and I've never seen this kind of class before either, is 925 with a gold wash over it. I know you probably can't see it. Let me hold the 2 ends up just so you can see. Just a little bendy wire that goes around your neck, but it is sterling silver and it's got a gold wash over it. So that's something I will put in an auction because the ladies like that silver, and sometimes they like it even better when it has gold on it. So,
By the way, you said auction. Are you and Cindy doing your Sunday auctions again?
we are. We have one scheduled for this Sunday, and we're going to try to do it on my channel now that I've got a computer that can, you know, and a camera that can withstand it. So we're probably going to try to do it from my computer this time, so it's not always on hers, and take it from there. Here's something I think might be gold. However, it's not marked, and I don't see anything on the back of it, but it just has that color.
Can you hold it up a little more? Is that an angel or what is that?
It is an angel with a golf club.
Oh my gosh. I was hoping they had Whataburger in heaven, not a golf course.
Let me tell you something. I found not just this angel with golf clubs. I found some breast cancer ribbons with golf clubs attached to them as well too. So there must have been some golfers, you know, with breast cancer who did some kind of you know,
charity event.
Yes. Yeah. So I just thought that was really cute though, that it looks like it's gold. I might be wrong, but the last time I saw something like this and tested it, it was 14 karat gold.
Uh-huh.
So And then I found this, which says 10 karat gold on the back.
Uh-huh.
And this is a maple leaf
Pretty.
in around, yeah. And something funny about this is I'm from Pennsylvania, and where I'm at, we're real big on making our own maple syrup and candy there. And
Yeah.
every year we have what's called the Maple Festival. And I could just as easily put that on a chain and wear that around my neck when I go back home. March and April is when they
Yeah.
have the Maple Festival every year, and it would just fit right in. Usually when I get gold pieces like this, though, usually onesie earrings is what I do it with, is I'll take them to the jewelry store / pawn shop
Mm-hmm.
and do that. And I don't ever do anything with silver. I keep everything as silver because it's just not worth it to sell anything silver right now. So
Why is that? Why do you say that? It's not worth selling anything that's
it's
silver.
not worth selling it for scrap. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Because when you're selling stuff like this to the jewelry store, 9 times out of 10, they're going to scrap it unless someone in the store wants to buy it.
Oh, okay.
Because yeah, I like I said, I usually take in that are like onesie earrings. I'll find a real nice gold earring, and then that's all I find is one. So I found something yesterday that I said to Cindy, it's a, you're not going to be able to see it really good. It's a bead cap. This is a cap that fits decoratively over the end of a bead just to make it look prettier. And I found this, and it's got numbers on the back. It says AA, and it says either 385 or 885. I can't tell.
Isn't
And just so
885
you know,
the number for gold?
it's not, I think this is gold.
But I mean, isn't 885? Or I thought I saw, who was it? Carla did a paper about numbers for gold.
Yeah, and I don't have them memorized. I know there is an 800 something that is gold. And like I said, this one either says 385. I could see the 8 and the 5 perfectly, but it's the first number, and I can't tell if that's a 3 or an 8. So, but at any rate, it's, you know, just something that you find. I also found this guy. I don't think
Oh,
he's
yeah.
silver. Isn't he gorgeous?
I like that. That's cool.
And he stands up. I mean, he doesn't, he's not a pendant, he stands up. And I found a couple of these that look like they're all made the same way. This is a lapel pin, and this is a grouse, I believe, with
Quail.
what looks like eyeglass.
No, it looks like a quail.
Oh, a quail. Okay, what did I say?
Grouse.
A grouse. Okay.
Yeah, the quail got that little bobble thing on its head, don't they?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But those two pieces and this one, which is a tack pin as well too. Whoops, both of these are tack pins. One is a vase of flowers, and the other one is that little quail. And was there one more piece? I don't know. But in it, I found a couple of pieces that I'm thinking might be Indian. This one's made out of all mother of pearl and shell, and it's got a couple of the little, this one's definitely one of these I have to repair. I hate it when I find something beautiful and I have to repair it. I can only hope that I can do it justice.
Okay. I need to ask you this question.
Yes.
Rebecca would like to know.
Uh-huh.
I want to ask you if if physicians support healing powers of stones, and the follow-up to that wants to know what stones she should use for pain.
Most doctors do not or if they do, they won't say that they do because, you know, they're scientists, they're doctors. Unless they've experienced something themselves, they're not going to see this one that's actually broken. I'm going to have to try to do it justice to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But I use the selenite stone, that white one that looks like mother of pearl. It's Selenite, selenite. And clear crystal rose quartz. I've got quite a few, at least a necklace and bracelet, couple of bracelets in the quartzes, just because you know, if I'm feeling particularly bad, like my right wrist is the worst of my two right now, and I will put, you know, those bracelets on and just wear them all day long, no matter what color outfit I'm wearing. It doesn't matter. I'm not wearing them for decoration. I'm wearing them for medicinal purposes. I know some people believe in the magnets. I've not tried the magnets, but I know probably at some point in my life I will. It's only a matter of time before I invest in a magnet mattress to help with the aches and pains of rheumatoid arthritis. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had it since I was 23 years old, and you know, it just doesn't get any better. It doesn't. So you just do what you can do. You can try what you could try, and if something works, then yay. If not, you go on to the next.
So let me ask you about the quartz. You say you wear that on your wrist now. Does it work? Because I'm interested in the stone thing with my condition. I'm interested in anything that would work that's natural. I hate putting any poisonous drugs in me. So when you're wearing that, is that just for the area that it contacts, or does that work through the whole body?
I wear it on the area that I need it on. However, there are those, if you see the pendants where there's several pieces of gemstones all together, a conglomeration wrapped, that's when people are using different gemstones for different parts of their body, because there are some that concentrate in your, you know, your thorax area, and there's some that concentrate in your head area. And I don't really know all into that, but there is a whole science as to what, you know, I just know a little bit of it. I don't know a lot of it.
So for general pain, the the rose quartz or the regular clear quartz is good to wear.
Quartz, the one you almost said first, smoky quartz. I've got smoky quartz as well too. And I at one time bought a strand of, oh my gosh, they had to be 30, 35 millimeter big faceted smoky crystal quartz that are still packed away in some place that I haven't found yet. But I planned on making myself that big banging necklace around my neck and my wrist, because at that time I was having a lot of pain in my neck area, and I ended up having surgery to my neck. I had a fusion, and I actually, it took a few years, but I can actually say that my neck feels better now than what it did before. I mean, you know, when they tell you we're going to do surgery, sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't work. And they weren't holding out a whole awful lot of hope because of the arthritis. When you have arthritis, you just don't heal properly. So we just weren't expecting a whole awful lot. However, having said that, it worked for me. I have more range of motion without pain than what I had before, and I consider that better than what it was before.
Well, I can tell you that anytime you don't put the poison in you, and you can do it natural, like I saw in the chat, somebody said holistic. I would always talk to my regular doctor, but then I always talk to a holistic healer or a person that deals in holistic medicine or the natural. And
well,
I've
and
learned
one big thing right now that holistic doctors are using is the CBD oils, which,
Yeah.
as you know, is very controversial.
Oh, it was.
I got to the point where I tried the CBD oils. I had tried all the medicines that they had given to me, and they are still trying to get me at this point in stage in my life to take the chemotherapy medicines, and I'm just refusing. And I know that they're getting frustrated with me, but I'm going to tell you something personal about me that now everybody in YouTube is going to know. And I don't like to tell personal things about myself. However, this is important. And as I said, I was 23 years old when I was first diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and they started me out on gold salts, which they started me out medication that had gold in it. Okay. And I was only on that for a year or two, and then they put me on something else, and then they put me on something else, and then they put me on something else. And when you have it like that, and they're just trying to find something to help you with the pain or control, they will try whatever they can. Anything, you're pretty much a guinea pig. Any kind of drug that they have on the market that they're trying out, they will have you try it out. And if you have to have vision tests before it and after it and during it, then you have to get your vision test to make sure that it's not messing with your eyesight. And if you have to have blood work done to make sure that your liver's not being killed by the chemotherapies that they're putting into your body, then you better get that liver work done and your blood work done, because within a matter of a heartbeat, it can change. It can go from working to not working very quickly. I was on one of them called Remicade, and I was on it for, I guess, between 7 and 10 years. And we went back and forth between injections or orally, a pill. And it just got to the point where it started messing with my liver and my blood count. And then at that point, then they take it off you entirely. Whether it's working or not, they won't take the chance of, at least in my case anyhow, they didn't take the chance of ruining the liver. They took it off of me, which I was glad about. But, you know, all those years where they tried this medication and that medication and, you know, these two other ones while they're waiting for a time period to see if the other one works. I mean, you're just putting poison upon poison upon poison, but you're doing this because you're frantic. You don't know what else to do. And you think, okay, the doctors know what they're doing. But in reality, it's all, you're a guinea pig is the only thing I can say. I had 10 years ago, my teeth just started snapping off at the gum lines.
Oh, wow.
For no reason. I was sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden I was just running my tongue around my mouth, and all of a sudden one of my front teeth just popped out. I pushed it out with my tongue. It was gone from the gum up.
Yeah.
And so that happened a second time. It happened a third time. And my sister is a dental hygienist, and she was telling her dentist about it. And her dentist has a dad who has rheumatoid arthritis. So he has a lot of sympathy for my plight. And he said, have her come in, and I will give your sister a good deal and I'll fix her teeth. So I went in, and Mike, I had Mamie, and this is embarrassing for me to tell, but it's part of my life. It's part of my story. I had 17 teeth left in my mouth.
Well, that's more than I got right now.
Well, so you've lost a lot of teeth over the years.
Through medication.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it's from. I mean, when I tell you, when that tooth popped out, it was like a little crispy, hard shell around the outside, and then the inside was like, you know, gooey chocolate. That's exactly what my tooth was. And that's an indication that it went bad from the inside out. And that doesn't happen normally. That happens because of something. Something causes that. Well, I already know what causes it, but, you know, it's already too late for me.
Yep.
And I'm not here to tell anybody not to take medications, because you got to do what's right for you. I just know that from here on out, other than the meds that I'm already on, I'm not letting them put me on anything new, especially when there's chemotherapy involved in the
Yeah, I agree.
name of it. I'm just not doing it. I mean, I spent a fortune on my mouth now to have a beautiful smile. And none of my classmates have seen my new smile yet. When I go back for my class reunion next year, they're not even going to recognize me, because, you know, they had known that I had a problem. And so it'll be like the first time I showed up at my class reunion and I had ulcers, and they had to go in and cut them out of my stomach. And I ended up losing like over 100 pounds. And I was a size 8 at my class reunion. And when I was in school, I was like a size 20.
Wow.
One of my best male friends at school was like, "Oh my gosh, who is about to hug me?" And I'm like, "Really? Look at the twinkle in my eye. Can you not tell who this is?"
Yeah.
I still had to tell him. But I mean, you know, everything makes a big difference on your body, and everything that goes in your body somehow, some way does come back out.
Oh yeah.
So
But that's good advice. So people should know. You know, that's why they were asking about the stones and the scents and all. I mean,
learn
don't neglect your
everything about
doctor.
it. If you can go holistic, go holistic. There are several people, and I'm one of them, that the CBD oil did help me somewhat, not with my pain, but with my anxiety. When I lost my job and walked away from a marriage all at the same time, had to find some place to live because my apartment was included in my job. I
Wow.
mean, my world was turned upside down. And on top of that, I walked away from a really crappy marriage. And my world just kind of went upside down. And talking to a person who never had anxiety issues before, I took a downward spiral down a rabbit hole like
Mhm.
you have never seen. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still not up out of that rabbit hole. But 2 years ago, if someone had told me that I would have the nerve to get on YouTube and tout my wares, whatever my wares are,
Yeah.
I would have said, "You are on drugs, and not legal ones either."
Yeah.
Because I just believe that that part of my life was over. I was very pretty high profile in my job. I was in property management, and I worked for a company that we did special housing for people with limited incomes, and you had to fall
Mhm.
within a certain guideline, a certain bracket. And guess who was the one person in the company who did that and did it well? Moi. I
You.
hate math. I was not good at math at school, but when it came to doing those numbers, um, I was the only one who could do it right. And I even tried training people, but you know, people don't want to be trained because then they have to do more.
That's true.
So I'm just one of those people that try to learn everything that you can, so that if you can help somebody, you can do
Mhm.
so, not the other way around where, oh, I don't want to learn anything because I don't want to have to help anybody else do their job. That's just wrong, in my opinion.
I
But, you
agree.
know, a lot of people out there like that.
I agree.
But at
Well,
any rate, when I was in that funk and I started watching Jewelry Jar Gals,
uh,
the first ones I watched were the, you know, higher prolific ones. Uh, Thelma was the very first one that I watched.
mhm.
Texas Jewelry Gal, she was the second one. And Carla was the third one. And then I started watching all of the new people who were doing it. And at that point in time, I was still not opening jars myself. I was still just watching other people open jars. But then I started going and had good luck at finding jars in my area. So
Yeah.
I got jars, yeah. And I won't say they're plentiful here, but I can usually find them when I want them. There's one Goodwill that has them all the time. However, They're the most expensive ones. They come back from corporate and they don't have any silver or gold. They'll have fashion, they'll have some vintage, but nothing more than that. You know, not the little treasures that we're all seeking to find.
Yeah.
So at any rate, if last comes to last, I could always go there and get a couple of jars. But no, I like to go out and try to find new places to find jars and try to find new sources. And I was on ThreadUp today trying to find some things. Nothing. Went on to Shop Goodwill and I actually put in some bids. We'll see if I actually won anything. But
That's
I said to, pardon?
That's a good place to go pick stuff up.
Yes, yes, but it's so hard to get the bid because a lot of people are going online and bidding now.
So you got to go late at night. You got to watch it when it's that Pacific
You know what?
time.
I didn't think of that, but I am a night out on occasion, and that's probably a good idea. Sit between like 12 and 4 in the morning and hit them while everybody else is in bed.
I might have sniped some stuff from you. I don't know because I'm on there late at night watching.
Well, I just did it this afternoon, so your stuff is probably.
And I must have got somebody else that we know.
Okay.
I must have. Hey, we're coming up on 6:30, and I know Dwayne's show is starting at 7.
Okay.
So I got to wrap this up because I don't like cutting in on Dwayne, my brother from another mother.
Yes.
So I know the mods. If the mods can you please put Dwayne's channel up for me so that
everybody follow over because that's what I'm going to do too.
And I think it's, if I read the chat right, it's Misha and Kathleen. This and that. Is that who's on tonight?
I'm not sure.
I thought I read somewhere in the chat it was 2 people. And I thought that
it usually is 2 people. Very rarely do I see it with just 1.
But I want you guys to, I'm going to want to wrap this up so everybody can have a chance to go over there and check it out and put please, if you could, I think I still have it. I think I still have it saved here. Let's see. I just popped up Vicki's channel is in there where I popped it up. Make sure you guys go check that out because tomorrow she's hosting a jewelry auction with jewelry nurse Cindy. So make sure you go over there for that. I know we got Dwayne here in a half an hour. Does any of the other people, Barb, Dia, you guys got anything going this weekend? I know I don't have anything else until next Friday. So we want to make sure everybody, okay, thank you, Angie, for putting that up there. That's Dwayne's. Make sure you guys go over there and support Dwayne. If you've seen anybody new in this chat, guys, please go over, click the little 3 dots on the right side of their name where they posted. Go check out their channel. It's like Vicki saying, you know, she tries to expand herself, get out there to go find and see different things. You know, make new relationships, meet new people, watch some cool videos. You would be surprised some of the different stuff out there that you can learn, and it will help you eventually in your reselling or whatever you're doing.
It's not going to hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. So is there any last nugget you want to give to people before we wrap this up?
Be nice to one another. We're all in this boat. We're all in this boat together. We're all in this boat called YouTube. And some point we all end around looking at someone else's channel, whether they're watching me on your channel or they're watching, you know, Cindy on her channel. No matter who you're watching, we're all in this together, and there is plenty of jewelry to go around. That's for sure. I love your dream catcher behind you hanging on the wall there, Mike.
Thank you.
Is that from Mama?
That's from Mama. Everybody's going to see it because I'm going to give the last good. That right there is from. Right there is from Mama or Shy Dove.
Yes.
So you guys always keep an eye out for those. I do want to say I agree with Vicki. Be nice to one another. And what I'm going to say, appreciate you all being here. Thank you for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm going to ask God, because it's Saturday, you know, we're going into Sunday. I'm going to ask God to bless all of you with much success, great health, happy life, happy family. I want him to prosper you all as he's prospering me each day. And with that said, I'm going to say goodbye, and we'll see you over at the MSP auction.
All right. We'll see you over at the next watering hole.
That's it. Y'all have a good evening.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye-bye.